Now, there's no better feeling than pulling your brand new bike out the back of your car or van and taking it for its maiden voyage. But will that ride of a full suspension bike, no matter of the known history of it, be better than that of a brand new hardtail off of the shop floor? So today we're taking a look at slightly fatigued full suspension bike versus a brand new hardtail. So the hardtail we have here today is the Husqvarna Light Cross 6. Now this retails for £3,375 off of the shop floor. It has 29-inch wheels, 100mm travel up front, a Shimano E8000 motor, and of course, being a new substantial 630 watt-hour internal battery, it weighs 23.5 kilos. And this second-hand full suspension bike cost me £3,250 fresh off of eBay. Now I paid for this with cash and not my credit card. Now this bike is a Focus Jam Squared Plus from 2019. It has 27.5 plus wheels, 140mm travel, Shimano E8000 motor, and an internal 376 watt hours, which makes this bike pretty lightweight at 21.2 kilos due to that smaller internal battery. But I have picked up a bargain with this bike. It's got the Tech Pack extender, meaning I get an extra 376 watts of power. As you can imagine, these two bikes' journey to this trail here in Wiltshire has been very different. I know for a fact that my Husqvarna hardtail has been assembled in a factory, lovingly careful, boxed up and assembled at my local bike shop. And the full suspension bike, the Focus, well, its first outing may have had a similar story, but from then onwards, I've no idea what this bike has been subjected to or where it's been. So here we have two bikes, similar prices. Let's take a look at the finer details to see where you're gonna be gaining or losing out. Right, so let's take a look at some of the pros of this brand new hardtail. Well, first up, you've got that full warranty in place. If something was to go wrong with this bike, you could return it and get it fixed with no questions asked. Secondly, it's gonna have a known history. I'm pretty sure that no one has ever ridden this bike, and I am the first owner. If there was any discrepancies, this could be checked out by the Shimano diagnostics. And lastly, you've got that bike shop backup. Where you bought it from, if there was a small problem, you probably walk in, get it fixed on the same day. So those three gains of buying a brand new hardtail could possibly be the cons of the Focus. And the cons of this bike, firstly, you can have no warranty in place. So if something was to go wrong, you end up paying it out of your own pocket. Second, you don't know the history of this bike. Yes, it might have been loved for its first few months and then owned by someone like me, taking it off jumps and drops and not looking after it too well. Then we have the electrical components of this bike. The battery, how many charges has it had? How many has it got left? And remember, on some bikes you can actually check this. Then you have the motor. Has it been submerged in water? Has it had a hard life? And maybe you might discover a crack on the frame, and it's pretty unlikely that you're going to be able to return this after you bought it. Now, with all those cons taken on board, the Focus could definitely put some doubt into your mind. And if you've even got £3,000 as your budget, well, that new bike could be the safer option. Now, the downside of the hardtail, and this isn't applicable for everyone, is that these bikes are mostly suited to forest tracks and smooth single tracks. And if that's all you ride, then the hardtail is definitely really suitable for this. And that isn't the only pros about this bike, there's plenty. The hardtail is gonna have up-to-date geometry, and of course that sizing is going to be bang on because you're able to try it out in the shop before you buy. You can have new parts on this bike, all the drivetrain, brakes, tyres, it's all fresh. And of course the expensive components like the motor and the battery, well, the battery, you're gonna have loads of charges left, and that motor is brand new, fresh out the box, knowing that it's not been submerged in water or any other trail nastiness. You're also gonna have the latest technology on this bike when it comes to the software and the updates that are available for it. And it's just a massive peace of mind having a fresh new bike underneath you when you're in the middle of nowhere, or if something was to go wrong, you can have it fixed for free and not pay for it out of your own pocket. And lastly, it's sparkling, nice and clean, not shabby looking. But there's plenty of upsides to a full suspension bike. It's going to allow you to ride off-road. There's more technical sections with comfort and control. So let's take a look at the pros of that Focus. Firstly, the price. Now you're going to get a lot of bike for the cash. This full suspension might well have been twice as much money when new. As mentioned, it's capable in a wide variety of scenarios and will give you huge confidence. It can be upgraded easily, And as long as the bike has been looked after, it might well have better components than the cheaper bikes. The wheels, the brakes and the suspension, you should all take note of. So how and where you ride might actually have a huge bearing on which bike you choose. So there's some more cons of the hardtail. You're gonna have a harsh ride on technical terrain with less grip. You're gonna have more ride fatigue, and you're not going to be going as fast downhill as you have to pick your lines very carefully, and it's less forgiving if mistakes are made on the trail. This is where the full suspension bike will rule, and the points are opposite to what we've just talked about. You're going to be smoother, you're going to have more grip, less fatigue, you're going to be faster on the rough stuff, and the bike is going to be way more forgiving. But with all that said, how do these two bikes compare in real life down the trail? We're going to do a head-to-head downhill run and a climb together on both of these bikes. Now, will the hardtail rattle my fillings out on the way down the trail, or will that full suspension glide down like a magic carpet? Time to find out. Time then to hit this on the hardtail, see what time we're at. Let's go. Oh, super harsh through that bit on the hardtail. Right, that was the hardtail time then in a 1:04.05. So interestingly enough, that was 3 seconds or 3.2 seconds slower than the full suspension bike, but I got a feeling the times may turn when it comes to riding back up this hill. Let's get to the climb. Start the clock, let's go. Now, one thing I do miss on this bike is a dropper seat post. Not ideal when it comes to hitting downhill runs and climbs back to back, but that's expected at this price point. You're gonna get things like that. Some components will have prices cut, and components that actually will reduce that price of fitted. So things like a seat post aren't big deals. You can definitely retrofit that later on, but it's something I do consider quite an important part of a E-mountain bike, particularly if you're riding this technical stuff. Nice to get that seat slammed out of the way. I was just feeling good. Big 29-inch wheels on this bike compared to the 27 pluses that are on the Focus. So that should make a difference on these bikes for sure when it comes to climbing. And I think in this hardtail is actually a lot quicker. Nice thing about hardtail is you've got that rigid rear end that really delivers that power efficiently to the back wheel and drives you up those climbs. You combine it with a 29-inch wheel with a cross-country based tyre, you're definitely on to a winner. So we're just climbing back up to the start point of where we dropped in onto that Tina Turner trail here at Wind Hill. Whew. Right, here we go. So we're coming back up to the start of the climb now. At the end of the climb, I mean. My trusty cameraman there. Right, so we're going to stop the clock. Bang on. All right. Whew. 2 minutes, 17 seconds, 0.1. So that's actually, do my quick maths, 5 seconds quicker on the climb over that full suspension bike. Probably due to the size of the wheels and how skinny they are, and it just being that bit more efficient. So crazy to see the differences there, up and down the hill. So the times, well, to be honest, it's all irrelevant really. As long as you've got a smile on your face, that's all what matters when it comes to e-biking. But it just goes to show that a hardtail in the right scenario can sometimes be a little bit faster, particularly if it's on a smoother trail. But you get them in tech terrain on a climb, then it definitely won't be as fast as the full suspension bike. And talking of that full suspension bike, we saw how much faster and how much comfort and control I had going down that downhill section compared to the hardtail. Now this is where it's really important to choose that right bike for the type of riding that you're going to be doing. Neither is better or worse, you just need to choose the right one to suit you. So which one of these two bikes should you go for? Well, ultimately it comes down to your budget and the type of riding you're going to be doing. If you want peace of mind and you're into just general forest track riding and single track riding, then the hardtail is definitely going to be a safe bet. And of course, you can have that warranty in place and be looked after if something was to go wrong. But if you want to push your mountain biking that a little bit further, and you want to take that risk of a second-hand full suspension bike, then yes, it can be a good option and it's going to be far more capable than that hardtail in off-road situations. But you need to be aware it could go wrong at any time and you will be paying the price. So two excellent bikes, definitely going to put a smile on your face. Which one you choose is ultimately up to you. Let us know down in the comments about whether you ride hardtail or full suspension. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to us here on EMBN and we should catch you in the next one.